1718, more than 100 Ulster-Scots families left this area on the north coast of Ulster for a new life in America. They left the ports of Londonderry and Coleraine, and they faced 8 arduous weeks at sea. Their future was unknown, so they must have been terrified. But at the same time, they had hope. They had hope of a new life and a new beginning in a new land. This coast would have been the last sight these families saw before crossing the Atlantic and settling in Casco Bay in what is now the State of Maine. They brought with them only what they could carry, but their skills as farmers helped them to develop their new land to grow crops and to raise livestock. Strong links between Maine and Ulster endure to this day. Surnames like Armstrong, McFadden and Wilson are commonplace there. Over time, their innovation and ingenuity helped them establish many industries in Maine, such as lumber and shipbuilding. They named towns and counties after places they left behind in Ulster. Place names in Maine such as Bangor, Newry and Belfast. The Ulster-Scots Agency has established a strong working partnership with the Maine Ulster-Scots Project. We decided to celebrate this relationship by commissioning a special instrument unique to Ulster, and what better way to do that than with a Lambeg drum.
Just ordinary sandpaper. So the first thing that I do now is sand the shell just with 120 grit sandpaper. And always sand down with the grain. Don't be going across like that. Always go the way the grain is, because then you're not going to get big scratches or marks in it. The drum's ready now to be primed, and now this is primer that I would mix up myself. So it is. I've found it to be what works best for me. It's my own mixture. So it is. Different people use different things, so they do. Whatever works for themselves the best, so they do. But you need to spend good time on the preparation. If you get the preparation right, it's part of the battle, so it is. So it takes a wee bit of time, so it does. The main drum is a big challenge because you're trying to tie in that many things to do with the actual place of Maine and the Ulster-Scots heritage. Trying to get so many different images in it in one drum is a challenge, and trying to let the people of Maine appreciate what the Lambeg drum and the tradition is all about. This is the drum after the initial process. The 2 coats of undercoat have been put on it, and now Richard from Ulster-Scots has given me some of the images that he's looking on the drum, and I've started to put my own ideas onto the drum here and try and figure out what way I'm going to get the whole drum painted and get it designed so it incorporates all the images that Richard was looking.
Do you want to just actually... Working with Rebecca Graham from the Maine Ulster-Scots Project, we came up with images that would reflect our shared history, some of which we felt were vital. The Maine state seal is going to be predominant on the drum, or at least it's going to be a strong central focus. And you've seen some of the pictures from traditional drums where we've got those garlands. So what we talked about maybe was the possibility of the pine cone, pine needles, which is very symbolic of the the state of Maine.
Yes, and the early industries as well as continuing industries. Pine is really important. So,
Of course, with the lumber industry and so on, or
yeah, it's one of our number one products would be the pine industry.
we don't want to give away all the images we're using just yet, but we had our final list. Well, listen, it's good to talk to you. Good to see you.
No, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your effort, and this is great. This is a brilliant idea.
Richard gave me the images in conjunction with the people from Maine, so it's a matter now of piecing it together. So it is. It's exciting, but at the same time, it's a wee bit nerve-wracking too. So it is, because you're trying to create something for somebody that you're hoping that they're going to like it whenever you get it done and appreciate it. Okay, that's the last piece of the tracing done of that section, and now we'll see here what way it looks whenever it's transferred onto the drum. And then once I have it all marked out, it should be ready then for painting. So it should, I've got all the images on then, and I'll start then till paint, to start to paint the drum. It's not really until you get to the later stages where you need to change the strength of your colours depending on what way the other colours go with it. So continually as you go along, you might have to change the shades of your colours, but it's just a process, as I say, as you go along, and it's just trying to get the whole drum looking as harmonious together as you can. So it is. So yeah, it's good to start to get the colours on it. And we'll see what way it turns out at the end.
The day has finally arrived, and I'm really excited to see the finished drum. And by the wonders of technology, Rebecca will be looking on all the way from Maine, USA. I'm back here in the heart of the Bann Valley, on the banks of the River Maine. It's this area here that would have been well known to the families that migrated to America in the 18th century. And for me, this area really reinforces the connection that we have with our kinfolk in America in the state of Maine.
Good to see you again. Good man.
Good to see you.
You're coming to see this drum.
Absolutely.
You are.
The time has arrived now to see the drum.
That's right, the big
Unveiling.
Unveiling.
To see it.
Yeah.
A lot of anticipation.
Hopefully it'll be worth the wait.
I'm sure it will be. Well, Andy, here we are. We have the finished drum, and what better place to unveil it? At the ancestral homestead of Chester Arthur, 21st President of the United States. Do you find the drum a little bit different from your normal?
It was very different to what I normally do. Normally on the drums that I paint, there's usually images to do with the Orange Order or biblical scenes or deceased people or things like that. But on this here, all the images were totally new to me, so they were, and it was just a totally different different project, so it was, but it was a very good one to do.
So we worked together. I mean, I just gave you some images, some pictures, and it was very much over to you as the artist to make it happen. I see some flax flowers and some pine cones here just appearing at the side, and
they're painted on the hoops, and whenever we unveil the drum, you'll see that they will be surrounding the main images on the painting, and it brings the whole thing together, so it does.
Well, you've said let's unveil the drum.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Time to see it.
Absolutely, yes.
See if you're happy with it.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Let's
right.
go for it.
Yep.
Oh my word! Oh goodness, it is absolutely fabulous. The first thing I'm struck with here, obviously, is the Maine seal.
Yeah, the seal at the top,
of the State of Maine on the top image here, and then moving down here with the Maine motto, which is Dirigo, I lead.
Yep.
And I suppose right from the very beginning, Rebecca was quite clear about what the drum was going to be called. Yep. Further down the drum, we've got some of the images here of the shipbuilding traditions that is shared between Ulster.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And I'm just going down the drum here now. Obviously, the lobster and the lobster, we would call them buoys.
Yeah.
Obviously, our kinfolk now in America will call those buoys.
Buoys.
And you know, obviously, the lobster industry is very important in the State of Maine, and this is where we're starting to get a lot of images now that really connect Ulster with Maine. We've got the Declaration of Independence. We've got the Constitution. There were 5 signatories of the Declaration of Independence were Ulster-Scots. Right. In fact, one of them, Matthew Thornton, was one of, he arrived in America in 1718 as a young boy and settled in Maine, as I understand it, in Wiscasset. I think it's really important, you know, we have a female figure here. They were the cornerstones of the family unit there and played a very, very important role in establishing these new families and communities in America. And I think that whenever I'm looking at this, I'm almost seeing a lady that's looking over her shoulder, perhaps, not only to the ship that maybe even might have brought her or her family to America, but as well as that, maybe, I suppose, looking back to Ulster, the place that she would never see again.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, of course, we've got it framed here as well with the pine cones, which we associate with the State of Maine. And as well as that there, we've combined that with the flax flower.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, of course, I mean, the flax flower, in fact, the cottage we're standing in front of is thatched with local flax. The drum has exceeded all of my expectations. Andy has made it truly unique and has captured all of the links, past and present, that we share with our kinfolk in Maine.
I'm so impressed with the way the artist captured those images and this ongoing partnership visually on the drum. I think that it's going to be a touchstone for the families here who are very interested in their connections to Northern Ireland. A lot of the images that I had sent were kind of key things that I thought were important to capture. So I'm really delighted to see that the woman features prominently in there. They were more than 50% of the folks that settled here, and their tenacity is the reason that there are still Scots-Irish here. So they were important figures. And also the Indigenous Wabanaki that are pictured on there in their traditional dress, which I think is really, really wonderful. I think he captured that really well. The state seal is phenomenal. He did such an amazing job. What an honor. Wow. It's gonna be an enormous conversation piece. It is gigantic. I don't know how it's gonna get here, but I'm so impressed by the artwork, and I'm so thankful for this ongoing partnership and the working relationships that we are using to create education, to educate and connect folks to their families and to their origins back there. And our connections run deep.
Well, Andy, we've seen the drum. It looks amazing. Of course, it would be a shame now, having unveiled the drum and seen what it looks like, not to hear what it sounds like. And I've heard that maybe you might be a bit of a drummer yourself.
Yeah.
In fact, my understanding is that you're the Ulster champion Lambeg drummer.
Yeah, well, in 2019, myself and my uncle won the Team of the Year and the Drummer of the Year within the Ulster Drummer Association, yeah, so...
Well, no better man then to
Yep.
let us hear what the drum
Yeah,
sounds
certainly,
like.
yeah, I'll give it a rattle here now.